The old Blackwood Manor had been a dare for as long as anyone could remember. A skeletal silhouette against the bruised twilight sky, it loomed on the hill overlooking our town, a place whispered about in hushed, fearful tones. They said it was empty, but no one truly believed that. Some places they just hold on to things. Tonight I was going to find out what. My flashlight beam cut a nervous path through the thick dust motes dancing in the air. The front door groaned open under my shoulder, a sound like a dying man's last breath. The air inside was heavy, cold, and smelled of damp earth and something else, something faintly sweet, like wilting flowers. The foyer was a mausoleum of forgotten grandeur. A grand staircase spiraled upwards into darkness, its banister coated in a thick, sticky layer of grime. Moonlight struggled through a grimy Palladian window, painting eerie silver stripes across a floor of cracked marble. Every step I took echoed unnaturally in the cavernous silence. It felt like the house was holding its breath, listening. My own breathing sounded harsh, intrusive. I moved from room to room. The parlor, with its furniture shrouded in white cloths like a congregation of ghosts. The dining room, where a long table was set for a banquet that never happened, cobwebs stringing from the candelabra to the dust-caked plates. Nothing seemed overtly out of place, yet the feeling of being watched was a physical pressure on the back of my neck. Then I heard it, a soft, melodic sound drifting down from the upper floors, a music box. The tune was delicate, a children's lullaby that sounded distorted and mournful in this decaying place. My heart hammered against my ribs. Who would be playing a music box in a house that had been abandoned for 50 years? Curiosity, that foolish, traitorous impulse, won out over fear. I had to know. My feet were leaden as I climbed the grand staircase. The groans of the old wood beneath my weight were punctuated by the steady, tinkling melody from above. The sound led me down a long corridor lined with peeling wallpaper. Portraits hung askew, their painted eyes seeming to follow my every move. The air grew colder with each step, my breath fogging in front of my face. The music was louder now, coming from behind the last door on the left. The door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open. The room was a child's bedroom, frozen in time. A small rocking horse stood silent in one corner, its painted smile looking more like a sneer in the dim light. In the center of the room, on a small, lace-draped table, sat the music box. It was ornate, silver, with a tiny ballerina spinning slowly on top. But it wasn't just a music box. The room was filled with toys, dolls with cracked porcelain faces and unblinking glass eyes sat propped up on the bed, on the floor, on the windowsill. They were all facing the door, facing me, and as I stood there, frozen in the doorway, the music box slowly wound down, the final notes hanging in the dead air. Silence descended once more, but this silence was different. It was heavier, expectant, and then one of the dolls on the bed, its head slowly, creakily turned to look directly at me. I didn't scream. The sound was trapped in my throat, a knot of pure terror. I stumbled backward, tripping over my own feet, scrambling to get away. As I fled down the hallway, a new sound began, the soft, rhythmic creaking of the rocking horse. It was moving on its own. I didn't dare look back. I bolted down the staircase, my flashlight beam bouncing wildly, creating a dizzying kaleidoscope of shadows that seemed to leap and writhe around me. Then came the whispers, faint at first like the rustling of dry leaves, but growing louder, closer. They were all around me, swirling in the cold air, speaking names I didn't know in voices that were old and thin and full of sorrow. I could feel their cold touch, a ghostly caress on my arms, my face. The house wasn't just holding on to things. It was full of them. They were lonely, and they didn't want me to leave. I burst out of the front door, gasping the clean night air, my lungs burning. I didn't stop running until the silhouette of Blackwood Manor was just a dark smudge against the horizon. I never told anyone the full story of what happened that night. Who would believe me? But sometimes when the wind blows just right, I think I can hear it. A faint, tinkling melody carried down from the hill. The lullaby, a reminder that some doors are best left unopened, and some places are best left to their ghosts. I learned that the hard way, the house is still there, waiting, and I know with a certainty that chills me to my core that it's still listening. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe for more stories from the shadows.